Make Cook. This time of year is lovely. It's cool now and lots of things are going over, but autumn is a great time for planning new garden beds and organizing new things for next year.
Bok, I'm Mandy O. This is Grow, Make, Cook, and welcome to my garden. I grew up in Australia in a permaculture family, but after we got married, Mr. O and I moved here to his home country of Croatia. I am a passionate and hands-on homemaker and gardener, and I love life's simple pleasures. So join me on my journey, and together we can learn to grow, make, and cook.
This is the first week of October or listopad. What I'm doing here is breaking new ground. Now, a lot of the soil here is quite frankly garbage. It's heavy clay littered with bits of rock and old concrete and all sorts of garbage. But if I don't start somewhere, I'll never get a new garden bed. So what we're doing is just taking the top off at the moment, and then we're going to dig all of this over a bit so that I can make a new raised garden bed. Whew. Well, now that that is all been surfaced, I've taken the top layer off and I've given everything a bit of a dig over. I'm going to leave this for a few days, maybe even up to a week, just to let it settle and let any weed seeds that are there still germinate and come up, so I know that they're there and I can dig them out. Because now that that's been turned over and dug up, what it really needs is a bit of a hole dug and a whole lot of compost put in. But that's definitely a job for another day. This really should rest, get some rain on it, let the soil settle a bit so that I can dig a nice sharp hole to fill with compost. Another job that I am doing this week is out with the old, in with the new, hopefully. So this tomato, which has a couple of little flowers on it, but no fruits left, it's completely gone, is getting ripped up, and it's a bit of a sorry story. They've been great, these tomatoes, but all the fruits are now off of this one, and the one next to it, and the one just down there. So anything that has not got active fruits growing on it comes up. The last things have been harvested, and then they're not going to survive. The temperatures now are getting quite cold. It's about 10 degrees in the day most of the time now, and colder. We're getting down to 1 or 2 degrees at night, and so these are never going to produce fruits. Even though they've got little flowers coming up, they think maybe warmer weather might come, but they're wrong. So in order to clear ground for new crops to go in, all of my summer crops, they need to come out. Apart from my tomatoes, the other things that need to come out are my zucchinis. Now this is a little bit heartbreaking, but they have fed us lots. And even the zucchinis that did germinate and started to form are all rotting off. They're not good and they're not going to grow. It's too cold. So these guys all need to come out. Oh, big root system on him for a big plant. Oh. But as you can see, taking these guys out is going to give me a lot of space. So in between the eggplants and the parsley and the blitva or silver beet or Swiss chard, I am going to plant something new. Need to finish ripping these up first though. Lovely. Now, what I am putting into this soil here, all over the place, is broad beans. These guys are a wonderful variety called OctW1, and they're pretty tough. I'm not spacing them accurately or in lines. I'm just bunging them in all over the place, down to the depth of my fingers, so about that far. And what I'm hoping they'll do is overwinter. What these guys are pretty good for is early sowings. So I'm trying to get this crop of broad beans in really, really early. I want to put a bean crop in here because these guys that were in here, the zucchinis and the tomatoes, are all really hungry feeders. They will have stripped all of the nutrients out of the soil here. And you know, it's nice. I've composted it and it's been fed, so it's good soil. But these guys have a kind of magic. So all of the legume family fix nitrogen on their roots. So that's peas and beans, and broad beans are a legume. And they're one of my favorites. I adore fresh broad beans in spring. So this way, I'm hoping to get a whole load of them. I am so glad to see these guys. These are my Jerusalem artichokes. Now I've been told it comes from girasol, which means kind of towards the sun. And these Jerusalem artichokes, they are a member of the sunflower family. And the flowers, they're looking like pure sunshine, tiny little drops of pure sunshine, but sunshine nonetheless, and that's more than welcome on these cooling, shortening days. But I think that's about all we've got time for this week. So if you like what we're doing, please like the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you want notifications, use the bell icon below. Until next week then, do widzenia.